You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis show. And this morning I was going to continue my rant and urgings on the Parliament of Ghana to do right by all of us by ensuring that we have a credible RTI law. And then something else happened. And Occupy Ghana said, look, we have a statement. Can you adopt it for your take? I said, why not? Wholeheartedly. So I adopt the Occupy Ghana statement that condemns the brutality at Midland's savings and loans, and also the statement, among others, applauds the police and the Ghana Bar Association for the steps or their comments that they have issued so far on the matter. But more importantly, the Occupy Ghana is looking at where the bank and its staff have been liable, and the fact that not only the police has to be punished, but the bank and its officers must also be punished in the present matter. So look out for the Occupy Ghana statement on the developments on this matter. Thank you very much. Now, let me introduce my guest to you, and then we get to have our discussion on the matters that we have tabled for discussion this morning. Just getting in after going through the protocols. Here is Abdul Malik Kwekubako. He's editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper, and he is our regular panelist. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Great, good to have you as always. And here in the studio also is Professor Godfrey Bokwin. He's economist and head Department of Finance, University of Ghana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Always when there are matters of finance and economy to talk about, you can trust that one or two of the people within that, some say is an ivory tower, may show up here. It is true also that these days they are not exactly an ivory tower. They interact with society very frequently and are making a direct impact beyond what they do by way of impacting knowledge. Also, Isaac Adon, that name also appears to have some be synonymous with matters of economy and finance. He's MP Borga Central and member Finance Committee of Parliament. Good morning and welcome, my brother.
Good morning.
Right. And Dr. Gideon Bwako, of course, another name that after the NPP assumed the reins of government under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is also becoming very prominent on matters of economy. He's spokesperson to the Vice President. Thank you very much for joining us in the studio. Right. Okay, so I had a missed call from you in the night, and I thought it was one of your usual calls to say hi. And then I got up this morning and got a list and realized that your name was there.
Oh, you know, a senior brother, when I'm coming, I have to announce to you that I'm coming.
Thank you for making time. On the phone, we'll be talking to Idrisu Mahama. He's an investment banker and chartered accountant. Now, it's not exactly a good morning because I know that the first issue that we are going to look at is disturbing, very worrying, and not anything palatable to talk about. Okay, so let me start with Gideon. You, of course, you are coming from a place where you can give a message to Ghanaians who are very angry about what's happened on Thursday regarding this particular woman. Good news, though, is that the police have been very swift in their action. So as we know now, this police officer has been arrested and is going through the processes. We understand the update is that some officers of the bank, staff of the bank, the Savings and Loans Company, have also been questioned by the CID at the CID headquarters. And so it does appear that there's some swift process to ensure that justice is delivered. What are your comments about this very disturbing news?
Thank you very much, Samson, and let me say good morning to our cherished viewers and listeners this morning. My understanding is that you may want us to marry this police brutality against the woman with the Asawase issue, if that is correct.
To be specific.
Exactly. I think that the issue of security is something that everybody is concerned about or should be concerned about. And so when you have officers who are trained and supposed to protect the citizenry, i.e. the civilians, and it turns out that the person who is supposed to be the one to ensure peace between myself and my senior brother Adongo then becomes the same person who turns out to fight me or to fight my senior brother or to assault us or trump over our individual rights as citizens, then becomes quite harrowing. Yesterday, I shouldn't have watched the video, but I couldn't stand the determination or the resolve not to watch the video, because severally I got calls and people were inundating my WhatsApp with the video to the extent that I couldn't resist it. And I had friends who called me and said, what is government doing about it? This is so serious. Government ought to do something. And so eventually I had to watch the video. When I started watching the video, I was like, what is happening? This is so barbaric, so ridiculous, and shouldn't have happened to anybody at all, especially coming from a policeman who is trained. And I think that, I don't know what may have orchestrated the act or what engineered it, whether he was provoked or not provoked. In some quarters I hear the action taken by the police was at the directives of some of the bankers who instructed that they had to deal with the woman. Whatever it is, you are a police officer who has been trained professionally and have been given the mandate to go out there in the name of the Republic of Ghana to ensure, maintain peace. You are under no circumstance allowed to brutalize civilians the way he did. And what makes it worse was the fact that the woman was carrying a baby. He showed no compassion. He showed no mercy, even for the baby. And I had people standing by. That is also an attitude which is wrong. It's either they felt that the strength of the policeman could overpower them, and therefore they didn't want to dare go in to try to separate the two or try to resolve the matter. There was another gentleman who did so well, tried to take the baby away. And when the baby was taken away, the man went ahead assaulting the person. For me, I wish to state categorically, I don't know the genesis of the matter. I don't know who is right, who is wrong, in terms of going into the nitty-gritties to establish the facts. But what I saw, if it is anything to go by, then I will say that the policeman really erred. And for me, it boils down to the issues we were talking about on emotional intelligence. No matter the degree of provocation that comes to you, once you are a trained professional, you ought to exercise some level of emotional intelligence to know your limit and know when and how you must react. And that is why the police officers or the security officers have been saying that act with reasonable force. And this kind of force that was exhibited yesterday, or he executed yesterday, was an unreasonable force. And I think it is good that the IGP and the police council or whatever have issued a statement. I'm told they have calls for the immediate arrest of the officer. And then
he's actually been arrested.
Okay, he's been arrested, so he's now in the custody of the police. Then he can be put before the courts, and then the processes will go on. But I know, as you lawyers always say, definitely there'll be a lawyer there in his defense. But whatever it is, something we need to condemn this. It is becoming one too many within the police force. We appreciate the efforts that the police is putting in place to ensure peace and security in this country. Sometimes they work under bizarre circumstances and circumstances that are quite unfavorable to them. But we appreciate all of that. I mean, I have been fathered along the line by a policeman somehow. And so I know the ordeals, and I've stayed in police barracks before also. So I know the kind of conditions under which the policemen work. But going to work at the bank and somebody provoking you or not and assaulting the person has nothing to do with your conditions of service and other things. All of us have problems. And so at any point in time, you need to measure up to know at what point you need to put your individual or personal problems behind you and make sure that you work in the public interest and in the public good. What the policeman did yesterday is highly unacceptable, and people are angry, people are raged. They are expecting to see quicker actions at the law courts or through the investigative processes to ensure that something is meted out to him, whichever way it is going to be. But of course, it has to be done in consonance with the law and will not have to contravene the law. And it is very bad. In the case of the Asawase matter, it is also quite disheartening.
Let me finish and pick brief comments about this matter, and then we can take the Asawase matter on as well. Now,
what my brother has said, except perhaps one wants to be heard as well and also exaggerate. But I just want to find out, was he detailed on duty? Had he been officially scheduled to be on duty there? Was that his schedule?
We can only say that will be the situation. But
That's a
the
good
police
question,
have not
because
said
the
that
bank
yet.
is also
They
a
have simply
private
just
bank.
identified him.
The bank is a private bank, right?
Yeah. They could still go into an arrangement with the police for purposes of providing that service and even perhaps paying for it.
Right.
Yes. But I'm still asking whether he had been officially detailed on that schedule. Was that his job? You know?
It will be most unlikely that he was not. And the bank officials, the savings and loans officials were here inviting him, you know, to sort of do his job as a peacekeeper.
Then there's a collateral responsibility element there. What was it that the bank management was inviting him to come and deal with? That lady, in that circumstances? I will not sound, I do not want to sound prejudicial.
Okay.
But what my eyes have seen on the video, if I were a judge, I might have sentenced the guy already. Yeah, that's the people's court. If I'm presiding over it, he's a goner. You know, but it's always important in a democracy to hold your fire and let the process proceed. Otherwise, what happened there is clear. The gentleman couldn't control the animal in him. We all have animals in us. It's obvious that he couldn't do it. But that again comes back to discipline, the kind of institution.
Okay.
We might go back to how we even recruit people into that service. Who do we recruit? Who are they? What are they? You know, this is a long-standing issue. We've been debating this over and over again. Anytime such things happen, we go back to the basics and find out the kind of people we recruit, the kind of training we give to them, and you know, the kind of aptitude and attitude that we infuse into them. So it's obvious that this is something that nobody would accept. If you go to social media, yes, I take directions from there when it comes to this one. If you go there, you will see that there's an outrage,
right,
and it's legitimate. So let's wait. Let's see how the police, at least they cause this arrest,
right,
showing some sensitivity to public sentiments and things. Let's see how the process is tackled.
Right. The woman has spoken, and she gives the narration that she's got her money there, which is 200 and is it
250?
250 Ghana.
That was what I saw on.
Yes,
on
yes, and that she's been trying to access the money. It looks like there's been some difficulty. So what she did was that Thursday morning she got there very early, and so was one of the first to enter the loans company when it was opened. Unfortunately, she was not giving her money until at the point where they announced that it was closing hour, so everybody go out, and she refused to go out because she said she needed that money urgently. Eventually, when she was giving, she said she was owing, so she went to pay 100 Ghana to someone, and then used the remainder to also buy. She sells toffees, to buy toffees and to take care of, you know, her family.
It's very sad. It's very sad, more so because it is happening to this woman who is working hard to sustain herself and her family. It's very unfortunate. And I think no objective person would look at the video and say that this is the way Ghana wants to go. And I want to believe that this is not the way the Ghana Police Service itself wants to be known. And therefore, I'm happy the statement that they have issued, and then the Minister of Interior, which is quite important. My prayer is that such public pronouncements are equally consistent with internal pronouncements, because it's very, very important, so that people in the service don't get the impression that this statement is just to please the public. I was also sad at the extent or the effortless of the officials at the savings and loan institution. Perhaps they made some effort and it wasn't captured in the video, I'm not too sure.
Good.
But I think that it is sad. Perhaps they could have done something about that. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because we don't know how the video was captured exactly. Apart from that, I think it looks to me, I do not have the evidence. It's not the first time that probably the woman had been to the place. And it's not a favor to honor her request, because it's her money. She's entitled to it. Does this suggest some liquidity challenges with this savings and loan institution, for which reason these things
That's also something that's out there, that it does appear that they may have some difficulties.
Yeah.
And so those who are doing their little susu there have begun to go there and get their monies out.
Yeah. And therefore, I think that I'm sure the central bank will be monitoring the situation very carefully, because they have done quite well in the last couple of years in terms of supervision, regulation, and all of that. So I think that is something that we all condemn, and we hope that it doesn't happen. More so because our children are also watching, they read about these things, and it is very sad when your daughter walks up to you and says, oh, I saw somebody being beaten, and she was helpless, and all of that, as though she was asking me to go and help her or something. But I think it's not good, and we all condemn it, and we are hoping that this police officer has got rights also, and therefore we will wait for the due processes to be completed. Thank you.
Right. Eric.
Yeah, good morning to you and to my colleagues on the panel. To be honest with you, I haven't watched the video. The whole of yesterday, right up to late, we were locked up in Adan trying to look at some of the bills that will give effect to the implementation of the budget. And so I just came from there this morning. I've not had the time to...
Can I make a suggestion to you?
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But just...
you have a wife and you have kids.
Exactly,
right?
so.
Don't watch it.
Okay, thank you very much. I think generally...
I'm told the baby is 2.5 months or so.
What?
Yeah.
That's serious.
It's too bad.
It's very disheartening, to say the least. I think that I don't know the standard operating procedure of the bank or the savings and loans institution, but for every financial institution, you close the door behind those who are yet to come in.
That's right.
But you don't close the door behind those who are in the bank, because it's your duty to serve them before they leave the bank.
It's an interesting observation.
And so that will clearly be some breach of normal standard operating procedure in any financial institution, because you are supposed to serve those who are there. So to have insisted that the person leave the hall because you have closed cannot be a good reason to send somebody away without serving the person. So that is an initial...
This is what the police said. Immediately they issued a statement, very prompt. And some will say this is proactive on their part. They said that the attention of the police administration has been drawn to a video circulating on social media showing a police officer assaulting a woman carrying a baby. The administration has identified the policeman as number 50260 Lance Corporal Goji Frederick Amano, popularly known among his colleagues as Scala. He is stationed at Accra Regional Police Operations Unit. The administration has already commenced investigation into his conduct. In addition, the Inspector General of Police has directed the officer's immediate arrest for criminal processes to begin. Further, the administration condemns the behavior of the officer as being contrary to professionalism and tenets of the ongoing police transformation program. 5. Following this conduct, the police administration has issued a stern warning to all police officers, reminding them to desist from any such human rights abuses and misconduct. The police administration assures the public that the outcome of investigations into the officers' conduct shall be published. And it's signed by Sheila Kese Abeye Bachman, who is Deputy Superintendent of Police Director, Public Relations, Public Affairs. The Interior Minister has also given the assurance. He has actually said straightforward that this guy is out to lose his job.
Yeah, I think that is encouraging. But like I said, Prof already mentioned that it is not a favor,
right?
You know, to meet a demand of a customer, unless otherwise that demand is not acceptable in the light of the kind of agreement you have with the customer. So if I don't have a fixed deposit, but I have a normal savings account or a normal demand deposit account, and I appear, anybody will tell you that the checkbook is only to simplify the process. I can actually write it on a sheet of paper, and you have to give me my money. And so that is unacceptable. I have had an instance where I have sat in a banking hall for a very long time, only recently, and all they are doing is serving people who have brought in money to deposit. And I was sitting there for close to an hour. I wanted to observe. I walked to the manager, he wasn't there. Then the officer who has been coming and picking them came in and said, I want my money right now. You took my money a couple of days back and you are more interested in those who are bringing it. I want to take mine now. You know, and within seconds he brought me my money.
Okay.
So it is to say that you cannot treat anybody who comes to a banking hall to ask for his money this way.
Well, eventually,
the general
after the assault, she got her money.
Exactly. And you see, the general issue...
Some MPs have donated. I think I'm told the MP for Manshia...
a number of people are making donations.
Because
she was asked the question when she was interviewed on Peace that whether she had been to the police station to lodge a complaint. All her answer was that I don't have money, I can't afford to even take a transport to the place. Have you seen a doctor yet? No, I don't have money. And so people had to come in to assist her. And I think even as of this morning, the gender ministry and a number of people are getting in there, and organizations, including the Ghana Equality Initiative, I'm aware, are getting to her aid to assist her.
Yes, but I think that is encouraging. The public spirit of the ordinary Ghanaian is very powerful in matters like this.
Right.
But I think that the police service, I think they have a professional something bureau.
Yes. The PIPs.
Yes, I think it has to be up and doing. The police has served us well over the years, but every now and then we get some of these reports that put the spotlight on the service, and once the public begin to lose confidence in the police service, we are all at risk. And so just beyond the statement and whatever is going to happen to this man, there have been series of other reports of similar nature across the country, and I don't know whether you were really combining it, but you saw something of instant justice, you know, and all of that.
So Gideon will continue from there. Doc, you continue from there.